finishing his time here and going on to a civilian environment, as well as W1 Key, who has been instrumental in the supporting role in the dismounted close combat wing. They're also joined with the intake that will now leave, so you'll have a fresh set of instructors join in September. So another intake will leave this particular academy ready for the new fresh set of instructors. Okay, in this stage they're going to march past the colours and you'll see them give an eyes right or salute in order to respect the colours that are on parade before they continue with the second half of the inspection.
रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी में पासिंग आउट परेड, जिसका आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा की जानिब से मुआयना किया गया। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा इस वक्त रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी में पासिंग आउट परेड का मुआयना कर रहे हैं। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी में मौजूद हैं। पासिंग आउट परेड का मुआयना उनकी जानिब से किया जा रहा है। बरतानिया में रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी में पासिंग आउट परेड, जिसका जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा मुआयना कर रहे हैं।
Academy to become officers, so they've served on operations prior to attending this course. So those are some of the medals. Other medals, the Jubilee medals, that are also worn if they have served for over 5 years prior to the 8th of February 2022. The international cadets will receive a Sanders Trust Medal.
रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी सेंडहर्स्ट पासिंग आउट परेड, आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी में बतौर मेहमान खुसूसी शरीक हैं। फॉर कमिश्निंग कोर्स 213 के शुरका 44 हफ्तों की तरबियत मुकम्मल कर चुके हैं। इसी ज़मन में आज ये पासिंग आउट परेड रखी गई है। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा, जो कि बरतानिया के दौरे पर मौजूद हैं, इस वक्त इस पासिंग आउट परेड का मुआयना कर रहे हैं।
Cadets did a full run-through for the Commandant's parade. In General Cap's speech, he reminded those commissioning where they've come from, but also what they have to come, stating that leaders earn their loyalty and respect based on how much they give and how they serve their people, reminding them of the Chief of General Staff's words to them last week when he said, "Your soldiers will not care how much you know until they know how much you care." These words will stay with the officer cadets as they commission and move on through their careers.
And the inspection party now moving through towards the Sovereign's platoon, and this you'll see the senior under officer and the Academy Sergeant Major will ask for leave to carry on. The senior under officer will go forward in front of the parade and stand the parade easy, whilst the Academy Sergeant Major will fall at the rear of the Sovereign's platoon. And you might catch it on the screen, but he has his pay stick removed, and this is the first time, and on the troop with the colour, if a regimental sergeant major is going to go forward and collect the colour, where they draw their swords on parade.
So now the inspecting party is escorted back to the dais, and just behind the Commandant you can see the Military Assistant Commandant of Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, Captain Sam Richardson, who will also be leaving the Academy today.
And that's now the senior under officer now taking its position back on parade.
Stand fast! Let's lead the division! The remainder! Charge! The remainder! Change! Out! The remainder! Stand at ease!
रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी में पासिंग आउट परेड। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा इस पासिंग आउट परेड के मेहमान खुसूसी हैं। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा पहले पाकिस्तानी फौजी सरबराह हैं जो इस पासिंग आउट परेड के मेहमान खुसूसी हैं। पाकिस्तान मिलिट्री एकेडमी के 2 कैडेट्स भी इस पासिंग आउट परेड में पास आउट होने वालों में शामिल हैं। पासिंग आउट परेड में 41 गैर मुल्की कैडेट्स आज पास आउट हो रहे हैं।
What we're going to see now is the Sovereign's platoon come forward, left form, and then march to meet the Sovereign's banner and take over control of it. The Sovereign's platoon, which wear multicoloured lanyards using colours from all 3 divisions, is selected on merit as the best platoon amongst the intake. These officer cadets have been in a competition throughout their 42 weeks training. The competition comprises of drill, orienteering, shooting, cross-country, a load of academic tests, and the final event is the march and shoot. This is one proud platoon to ultimately have the honour of trooping the colour or the banner today.
Something to eyes up! Stand hard! Halt! Stand hard! Look! Halt!
And now you can see the Academy Sergeant Major making his way from the rear of the Sovereign's platoon. As he walks onto the front, he'll pick up the ensign who will be carrying the Sovereign's platoon. And the Academy Sergeant Major will take over the Sovereign banner and hand it over to the ensign.
The ensign today is Officer Cadet Pittman of the Sovereign's platoon. Officer Cadet Luke Pittman is from Cirencester, Gloucestershire, and was educated at Eton College and studied engineering at Oxford University. Officer Cadet Pittman enjoys playing tennis, football and golf in his spare time, and he looks forward to commissioning into the Household Cavalry Regiment.
The Sovereign's platoon! Present! Out! The Sovereign's platoon! Slow! Out! The Sovereign's platoon! Will advance! By the right! Slow! March!
And it is particular to note that the colours and banners are extremely important to any regiment, normally presented by Her Majesty the Queen, and they contain insignia of the battle honours of the unit that they have fought in. They're normally held secure in an officer's mess and will be escorted when moved from place to place. On the battlefield, however, they signify a rallying point for soldiers to return to in chaos of battle, and then we'll later see a demonstration of when the colour is then trooped in front of the senior division so that they can recognise the colour that they've just been trooping.
There, just going through shot, is the proud platoon colour sergeant of the Sovereign's platoon. That is Colour Sergeant Ray, and he's from the Coldstream Guards. He was posted to the academy after his last role as the recce second in command of the 1st Battalion Coldstream Guards. This is his second opportunity to commission a regular course, one of them being the Sovereign's platoon here today. He's immensely proud of all 14 platoons' achievements and being part of the Sovereign's platoon commissioning course 213. Colour Sergeant Ray finishes at Royal Military Academy Standards this term and returns to the 1st Battalion Coldstream Guards in August. Colour Sergeant Ray is married to Elizabeth, and they are both expecting their first boy in November.
And that's the senior division with swords and the intermediate and junior division with rifles now presenting arms as the banner is now trooped through the ranks. The Sovereign's platoon now making their way back to their original position on the far left of the parade, and they're joined by some company to their right hand side. Between the centre, so either side of the colours that you just seen just then, is Gaza Company, and to the right hand side is Eaps Company. what we can expect now is we can expect the Sovereign's platoon to halt and then face towards the front. And then you'll see the Academy Adjutant moving forward to give the words of command, ready for the parade to march round in slow and in quick time.
Standards will march past in slow and quick time. Divisions into column. Right wheel by the right. Slow march.
The parade step off in slow time now, a huge relief for every single officer, cadet and member of staff on parade as they finally move after being stood still for probably about 30 minutes at this stage.
And a beautiful view of Old College, the iconic building of the Royal Military Academy. The Royal Military Academy was established in Woolwich in 1741 to train officers for the artillery, my cap badge, and the engineers. A similar institution was founded for the cavalry and infantry officers in 1802 in High Wycombe. The first commissioning parade at the new Royal Military Academy Sandhurst was held on the 14th of July 1948 in the presence of His Majesty King George VI, who decreed henceforth that the parade was to be known as the Sovereign's Parade.
See the parade moving away to the far left-hand side of the parade ground now, and this is so that all the senior term will get in front of the intermediate term, followed by the junior term, and will march past the dais. So the inspecting officer will be stood on the dais just to the left-hand side out of the screen, and all the troops in their half companies will march past and respect and pay compliments to the inspecting officer. Giving in, leading the parade and giving the first compliments to the inspecting officer. Just incidentally enough, the chargers are looked after by experienced ceremonial members of the Household Cavalry, Corporal Bishop and Santonine. And chatting to them earlier this week, the Academy Adjutant's charger, Falkland, he's 22 years old and he started his career as a lifeguard in the Queen's Guard. Noticed for his kind nature and strong presence, he was promoted straight to an officer's charger and then as the commanding officer's charger. He's extremely experienced, as you can see, he's on parade, but he is approaching his retirement and he'll be looked after daily by Colonel Crispin Lockhart, his previously commander officer. Cadets are now making their way in slow time past the dais. We just touched on the charges just then, and incidentally enough, this year celebrates the Jubilee celebrations, the Platinum Jubilee celebrations for Her Majesty the Queen, and a statue was unveiled here at the Academy, and it was commissioned to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee and the long association that Her Majesty has with the Royal Military Academy. It was unveiled by His Royal Highness Prince Edward on Friday the 27th of May 2022, so just a couple of months ago, and it shows Her Majesty in the Grenadier Guards uniform riding her favourite mare, Burmese. And now it took the artist Caroline Wallace a year to sculpt that particular statue and 9 months for the foundry to be painstakingly cast. Those present for the unveiling was His Royal Highness Prince Edward, who was the head of Army Staff, the Chief of General Staff, Carlton Smith, and the Toulouse foundry staff who helped make the statue, and the statue's patrons, His Royal Highness Prince of Bahrain, Sheikh Nasser. Her Majesty was really passionate about horses, and which is why we're including the two chargers here today. She started learning to ride at the age of 3, and Burmese, which is depicted in the statue that she is riding, is the beautiful black mare that was given to her in 1969 as a gift from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And they were in the UK at the time, attended the Royal Windsor show that year. But Burmese was the starring role, as you probably would have seen in The Troop and the Colour, for almost 18 years, rode by Her Majesty between 1969 and 1986. Burmese retired and was put out to pasture in 1987. Later, unfortunately, passed away in 1990. But, incidentally enough, Her Majesty did not replace Burmese, her favourite statue, with another charger. Instead, she chose to ride in the carriage during the remains Troop of the Colours from 1987. The officer cadets, as they pass the dais now, you will see they will get in open order, so that means you'll have a bit of a distance between the front rank and the rear rank in order to pay the correct compliments, as you would do an inspection. And then once they pass the rank, you'll see them get into close order, so the ranks will close by. There you can see Company Sir Major McAvoy, the Welsh Guards, leading his company around Chaos Corner, where the divisions are from single line and they move into column. So basically the right half, as you're looking at the parade, half company will end up behind the right half, the left half. Spectacular view of Old College there. As you can see at the apex, just below the flag, above the steps on the facade, is the relief of Mars and Minerva, the ancient gods of war and wisdom, something that all the cadets will see as they arrive. term, the words of command are given by the officer cadets that were selected as junior under officers or senior under officer. But for the intermediate term and the junior term, because they're still in previous stages of training, they will have their words of command given by the members of staff. Once all the officer cadets have gone past in both slow and quick time, which they are doing now, they will now form back onto their original lines you see prior to the march past, so their inspection lines. So senior term will be at the front again, followed by intermediate and then the junior term. College Regiment Sergeant Major James Timperley put up the rear there, followed by the new college adjutant Chris Pollard. As the officer cadets completed their final stages in quick time, you'll see that they will perform a movement called left form at the halt. So this is where they left form at a given point, and then it will halt facing the remainder of the stands.
The final soldier marching on the parade is the Old College Regiment Sergeant Major. He is W01 Jim Tipperley for 1 Mercian, and he's the first Mercian to be selected into that post. Recently he returned from Okabrit, Estonia. He's married to Claire, who will be working at home with their son Brody.
And that's the Academy Adjutant now getting all the parade into a dressing ready for the advance in review order. And this is where the whole parade will come forward 14 paces and halt in front of the Sovereign's representative.
Santa, load, arms! Santa will advance in review order. By the centre, quick march! Santa, shoulder, arm!
आर्मी रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी में पासिंग आउट परेड। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा इस पासिंग आउट परेड के मेहमान खुसूसी हैं। उन्होंने परेड का मुआयना किया, परेड से खिताब किया। परेड के मुतालिक आपको बताएं कि 41 गैर मुल्की कैडेट्स हैं जो आज पास आउट हो रहे हैं। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा ने पास आउट होने वाले कैडेट्स को मुबारकबाद पेश की। पाकिस्तान और बरतानिया के ताल्लुकात के बारे में बात करते हुए उन्होंने कहा कि दोस्ती और बाहमी एहतराम पर ये ताल्लुकात मबनी हैं। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा ने पासिंग आउट परेड से खिताब किया, जिसमें उन्होंने ये कहा कि तमाम हाजरीन और नाजरीन को सलाम पेश करता हूँ।
And practical studies. Today it is awarded to Officer Cadet Al Mohanadi from Qatar.
Officer Cadet Al Mahadi, 18 Platoon Eads Company from Qatar. Following commission, he will return to Qatar and serve as a military skill instructor. And he tells us that he's looking forward to taking the high standards of Sandhurst to his upcoming training role back home.
And of course, that's just one of the awards given today. It's an extreme honour to be recognised for any award during this time at the Academy, in particular the ones on parade today.
The Queen's Medal is awarded to the officer cadet who has achieved the best overall results in military, academic and practical studies. Today it is awarded to Officer Cadet Campbell Bareham, who is to be commissioned into the Intelligence Corps. The International Sword, presented by the State of Kuwait. The International Sword is awarded to the International Cadet considered by the Commandant to be the best of the intake. Today it is awarded to Officer Cadet Solms Lerbach from Germany.
Officer Cadet Konrad August Solms Lerbach is from Germany, and he's from 13 Platoon Somme Company. He joined Sandhurst after completing his first year of officer training in the German Armed Forces Academy.
The Sword of Honour. The Sword of Honour is awarded to the officer cadet considered by the Commandant to be the best of the intake. Today it is awarded to Senior Under Officer Wilson, who is to be commissioned into the Rifles.
Officer Cadet Alex Wilson of 12 Platoon Gaza Company said earlier this week that he's looking forward to the privilege and challenge granted in leading a platoon of confident, characterful and professional riflemen.
Academy Adjutant will now finally address a final present arms before asking the Sovereign's rep to march the parade off the square.
Stand General salute. Present arms.
And the majority to launch the senior division up the old British steps and remain in the frame. Please do.
And that's the senior division now getting ready to march up those famous steps of Old College to complete the parade and indeed their commissioning. Just inside Old College Grand Entrance there, you've seen John Archibald, who's the hall porter. He will be directing all the events that happen inside once we see Falkland, the charger, on up the steps and into Old College Grand Entrance.
Intermediate and junior division. Present arms. The senior division, Edward Will, by their centre, slow, march.
So this parade marks the culmination of 44 weeks training on the commissioning course, which must be passed by all direct entry officers commissioning into the regular army. The course is split into 3 terms of 14 weeks, with a further 2 weeks of adventurous training. The course covers activities such as military theory, academic study, behavioural sciences, physical training and field exercises, where military skills and leadership are developed and tested under arduous conditions.
रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी पासिंग आउट परेड आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा का एजाज़ रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी सेंडहर्स्ट की पासिंग आउट परेड में बतौर मेहमान खुसूसी शिरकत करने वाले पहले पाकिस्तानी सिपह सालार बन गए। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा ने रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी आमद पर उन्हें सलामी पेश की गई। उन्होंने मेहमान खुसूसी के तौर पर परेड का मुआयना किया, कैडेट से मुलाकात की और इस पासिंग आउट परेड के शुरका से उन्होंने खिताब किया। पास आउट परेड्स में 41 गैर मुल्की कैडेट्स हैं जो पास आउट हो रहे हैं, जिनमें 2 पाकिस्तानी कैडेट्स भी शामिल हैं। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा ने कहा कि पास आउट होने वाले कैडेट्स को मुबारकबाद पेश करता हूं। पाकिस्तान और बरतानिया के ताल्लुकात के बारे में उन्होंने बात की और कहा कि दोस्ती और बाहमी एहतराम पर मबनी ये ताल्लुकात हैं। अपने खिताब के आगाज़ में आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा ने तमाम नाजरीन और हाजरीन को सलाम पेश किया। पाकिस्तान और बरतानिया के बेहतरीन दिफा के लिए काम करने पर उन्होंने बात की। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा, जिन्होंने परेड का मुआयना किया, खिताब किया। इस मौके पर आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा ने मेहमान खुसूसी के तौर पर परेड के शुरका से खिताब में कहा कि हम बेहतर ताल्लुकात को मज़ीद आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं। 41 गैर मुल्की कैडेट्स हैं जो पास आउट हो रहे हैं, इनमें 2 पाकिस्तानी कैडेट्स भी शामिल हैं।